Stepping out of universe again today, we have to talk about the upcoming and mysterious Alien TV series from Noah Hawley. Just a few days ago, we received a new interview with Noah Hawley himself. Within the interview, he actually surprisingly gave us a decent amount of information about the upcoming show, so I won't waste any more time, let's get straight into what he said. During the interview, Hawley was asked about what's coming up next in his career. Whilst he quickly talked about a possible Season 5 for his show Fargo, he very quickly assured the interviewer that he sees his next steps as being the Alien franchise. I'm going to be quoting a lot of what he said for simplicity's sake, and he started by answering the first question with what he thinks was next for him. An Alien series for FX, taking on that franchise and those amazing films by Ridley Scott and James Cameron and David Fincher. Those are great monster movies, but they're not just monster movies. They're about humanity trapped between our primordial, parasitic past and our artificial intelligence future. And they're both trying to kill us. Here you have human beings and they can't go forward and they can't go back. So I find that really interesting. So this show is going to continue to play at the heart of the franchise pretty much, exploring once again the disconnect between different classes across society that seems to only get worse as time goes on. In the films, this is explored through the lower or working class, the space truckers, the down and dirty boots on the ground Marines, prisoners, mercenaries, scientists and colonists. However, it would seem that this TV series wants to explore the same universe, but through the eyes of the corporate executives and the government officials. The presence that's felt but not really encountered in a direct way besides a few notable exceptions. This is usually behind the scenes in most other alien media, usually a faceless corporation. Their presence felt but not really encountered in any direct way besides a few exceptions. This would be a very interesting and much needed shake-up, I guess, for the formula of the Alien universe, and something that I think could be very interesting. We might finally see the xenomorph creatures from across the franchise feast on the flesh of the white-collar, upper-level executives of Weyland-Yutani, who have caused so much heartache suffered by others in the franchise. Perhaps some might even be sympathised with, but that is, I guess, for us to find out. I've seen people throwing hate at these statements in the interview, about the fact that the show might have a statement on politics or the class system or equality. This just boggles my mind. Anyone that's sort of confused by this, I don't really understand it. Because just about every Alien story is about that in one way or another. So if you're hating this show, or you're not hating it, but if you're questioning why the director is doing this, I think you need to look closer at the franchise that you're a fan of, and recognise that it has always presented and attempted to deal with these themes in one shape or form. So the next question the interviewer had was, what was the status on the process of creating the film, and Hawley responded to that as he's written a couple of scripts, the first 2 scripts, and we're looking at making them next spring. When you get to something with this level of visual effects, there's a lot of preparation that has to go into it. What's been really illuminating is to see that the entire film industry had to take a year off, and now they're trying to jam 2 years of production into 1 year. So it's very hard to look at the planet Earth and see where you might make something in the next 6 months. Everyone is racing to make up for lost time. So I figure, let that bubble burst a little bit, and then we'll do it right. Despite the idea that the show is a ways away, not starting production until next spring and likely won't be releasing until 2023, you have to take solace in the fact that according to Hawley, the extended waiting is because he wants to make the show the way he wants to make it and not rush it out. Hopefully this is a good thing, meaning that the show will have plenty of time to get everything from the writing, visual effects and setting down pat. I am a little bit weary on the visual effects thing. I hope they do as much practical as possible. I'm always one that wants most things practical with visual effects there to improve them. Following on from this, Noah Hawley confirmed something that has concerned me from the beginning, is that this story is in no way connected to the Ellen Ripley story. It's not a Ripley story. She's one of the great characters of all time, and I think that story has been told pretty perfectly. I don't want to mess with it. It's a story that's set on Earth also. The alien stories are always trapped in a prison, trapped in a spaceship. I thought it would be pretty interesting to open that up a little bit and see what the stakes of what happens if you can't contain it are more immediate. Personally, I believe that it is as well truly time to move away from the Ripley story. Ripley's story happened and now it's over. It was amazing, but it's time to explore new things. So this comes as more good news to me. I want to see new locations, I want to see new characters, a further expansion of the alien lore and canon, with some familiar elements popping up here and there, which wouldn't worry me at all. And finally, Hawley once again talked about the specific class themes that he will be exploring when asked about today's political climate and how that would affect his series, if at all. In mine, you're also going to see the people who are sending them. So you will see what happens when the inequality we're struggling with now isn't resolved. If we as a society can't figure out how to prop each other up and spread the wealth, then what's going to happen to us? There's that great Sigourney Weaver line from Paul Reiser, I think that's how you say his name, basically Burke from Aliens, where she says, "I don't know which species is worse, at least they don't fuck each other over for a percentage." While this isn't the exact line that Ripley brings to the table about Burke and the mega corporation, about Weyland-Yutani, it's obvious that Hawley is a fan of the franchise. And for now I want to remain cautiously optimistic about this project, as so far from what I have heard, it is seemingly starting to be up my alley. I do think that some of the who sent them was seen in Prometheus, however I understand that was to a lesser extent because the general circumstances were much different. Peter Weyland showed up at the end, in the thick of it, and by his own free will really, like it was his decision to go out there, he wasn't forced by someone. So it was sort of his wish. I know he did put the scientists in the thick of it, I guess, but he walked out there in all the dangers of LV-223 and went up to an engineer and he did pay the price. What I want to see is some executives in a real precarious situation, one that they didn't want, one that they didn't think was going to happen to them, and one that they wanted to throw someone else at and not themselves. The only issues I have with the series so far is the time period and location it's supposed to be set in. Hawley has stated in the past that the series will be set in the not so distant future and on Earth. But does this mean that it's a prequel, not far in the future from our current date? Or does he mean not far in the future from the point the films take place in the in-universe timeline? Either way, it does concern me a little. However, there are more than a few ways that both of these concerns could easily be turned into something that fits into canon. It is a breath of fresh air and serves to bring new life to the franchise if it does well. And look, I'm really hoping for that. Again, to address some people's hate on this, I've seen some people saying that Hawley's vision of this, the political thing, is leaning towards socialism. Yeah, but I also don't know how that affects anything. There has been numerous different political things scattered through the Alien franchise, and at the heart of it, I don't really see it as a political thing. It's more a humanitarian thing, like how we treat each other as human beings. I don't really see that as a political thing. I see that as a human right. How should we be treating each other? How should we live with each other? How should we try and bolster our species so that we don't get wiped out by something like the xenomorph? But anyway, I don't want to get too much into the discussion about the negative side of things. I think we have plenty to look forward to here. Hopefully it's good. Maybe it won't be. We'll just have to wait and see. Before you close transmission, I want to show you the ACHERON Colonial Marketplace, the one-stop shop for all Project ACHERON's merchandise. All proceeds go to fund our future endeavours under the project. So if you want to support the project and look good doing it, pick up some ACHERON merch. But what other data logs would you like to see? If you have any ideas or have any questions to be answered, please leave them in the comments on the LV426 Discord or on the LV223 subreddit. If you really want to support what we do here and gain a bunch of awesome rewards, consider joining as a Project ACHERON channel member, like Project Director Chris Dasinger, Company Representative TheSixxness, and team members Raunchy, Ambrosia, TheRyanSmee, and M56 Smart Gunner. I hope to see and hear from you all again very soon. Project ACHERON, bringing the knowledge and the power directly to you.